Oh my goodness, it is very strange indeed how things tend to work themselves out. There's a word, it's called karma. Yeah, it's karma. Of course, the other night, there was a Connecticut Sun-Indiana Fever game.
What goes around always finds its way back, and Marina Mabrey just got served a hard lesson in front of the entire basketball world. After blindsiding Caitlin Clark with a hit that had nothing to do with basketball, Mabrey walked off the court like nothing happened. The referees gave her a light technical. The league quietly upgraded the foul after the game. And Mabrey? She hopped on TikTok, bragging about the controversy like she just won a trophy, even saying, "Every time they comment, I make dollars."
J.C. Sheldon viciously poked Caitlin Clark in the eye, and as she was reeling from that, Marina Mabrey came in with the Kennedy Carter body slam, heard around the world, just slammed into the side of Caitlin Clark and sent her viciously flying to the floor.
But 3 days later, justice showed up, this time in the form of Paige Bueckers, and what she delivered was cold, clean karma that no official could stop. When Mabrey slammed into Clark mid-game, the entire arena went silent for a second. It wasn't just another rough play. It was calculated, vicious, and deliberate. Clark had just been poked in the eye by J.C. Sheldon, and before she could even recover, Mabrey came charging in full speed and sent her crashing to the floor. This wasn't defense. It was a hit job. You could feel the shift in the crowd.
Of course, many of you were like, can we ban her? I said I thought she ought to get 10 games for the incident, really and truly. And part of that is, simply put, send the rest of the league a message. The WNBA missed an opportunity to take that. By the way, referees completely bleeped that whole thing up. I mean, they effed it up royally, right? And then after the fact, they came back and said, oh yeah, it's a flagrant 2. You don't say. You don't say. Kathy Engelbert, get some real referees and fire every one of them.
Even fans who didn't know all the rules knew that crossed every line. There was no basketball move here. Mabrey didn't even pretend to make a play on the ball. She launched her body into Clark like she was trying out for the NFL. Clark went stumbling back in total disbelief, and the crowd erupted. Replay screens lit up across the arena. Fans pointed, booed, and demanded action.
So Caitlin Clark gets poked in the eye. Marina Mabrey doesn't even see what happens, and she just decides to clean Caitlin Clark out of it. And the referees just said, nah, was not worth an injection. So Caitlin dribbles. Look at how far she is away from the ball, by the way. Look at how far she is away from the ball. Like, that's literally, she's nowhere near the ball. She just jumps at her face. And then she belly bumps Caitlin. Caitlin retaliates by shoving in an unsportsmanlike manner, according to the referees. And then Marina Mabrey comes from nowhere.
Commentators didn't sugarcoat it. They called it what it was. A blatant act of aggression that didn't belong anywhere near a professional basketball court. And somehow, the refs gave her a simple technical foul. To make it worse, Clark got one too, for reacting after being hit and poked. That's right.
It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure JC. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, JC Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and JC are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little bit.
The one getting hit took the penalty. Fever head coach Stephanie White had seen it coming from the very first quarter. She warned the officials early, and when it finally exploded, she didn't hold back. We knew this was going to happen, she told reporters. The league has to protect players. Hours later, the WNBA updated Mabrey's foul to a flagrant, quietly admitting the refs blew it. But by then, the damage had been done.
Well, something happened last night during the game. All right, Mabrey was trying to guard Paige Bueckers. And all of a sudden, the winds of karma came blowing through the arena.
Mabrey had already walked off thinking she'd beaten the system. Then came the TikTok. No regret. No accountability. Just Marina Mabrey proudly saying, "Every time they comment, I make dollars." She turned her foul into fame. But while she was bragging online, the Fever were watching. They weren't laughing. They were done waiting on officials to protect their star. If the refs wouldn't do it, they would.
The Indiana Fever fans were chanting, "Sophie, Sophie." Sophie's jersey is going to sell out tonight. She's going to be in the All-Star game tonight just from this one play because she was standing on business. It wasn't a dirty play. It was an intentional foul and it was meant to send a message. It turned into a scuffle and I don't think anybody wanted that.
Sophie Cunningham was especially locked in. You could see it in her eyes, cold, focused, waiting for the perfect moment. She'd had enough of seeing Clark take hit after hit with no response. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment outburst. It was a decision. With less than a minute left in their 88-71 win, Cunningham locked onto Sheldon, the same player who started it all with the eye poke.
Oh, and Marina Mabrey's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it.
All they had to do was just eject her. All they had to do was eject her and none of this happens. If the referees had ejected Marina Mabrey, nothing else happens. The Sophie Cunningham situation does not happen.
She wrapped her up and took her down hard. Officials instantly called a flagrant 2 and ejected her on the spot. But Sophie didn't care. She knew exactly what she was doing. It wasn't about revenge, it was about setting the tone. You mess with Clark, and you answer to the whole team. The crowd went wild. Fever fans jumped to their feet and roared as Cunningham left the court.
WNBA couldn't do the right thing. WNBA was handed an opportunity to send a message to the rest of the league. We're done with this crap. Caitlin Clark is the money maker in this league. You know, you guys have got to quit doing her like this. By the way, I think that affected the Fever and Caitlin Clark in their next game against the Valkyries. I do. Like I said, it turned out to be a national story outside of the sports world.
Social media lit up with fans praising her loyalty and fearlessness. Some even said she deserved an all-star vote just for protecting her teammate. The Fever weren't just another team anymore. They were a squad with each other's backs, and the rest of the league was officially on notice. You don't target Caitlin Clark without getting checked. But just when it seemed like the dust was settling, the story took one last perfect twist.
This is last night, folks.
Off the floor. Let's take
right
a look
here.
and see
you see
what
Marina
led to this
being escorted off the
shake-up.
floor. That's right. And this was the only thing I could find. But here, you're going to see it. Watch her ankle.
Oh.
I mean, Paige Bueckers
Just
puts a
kinda
move on
planted
her.
wrong
and
hyperextended
it-
a little bit.
Broke her ankle. And it may have literally
And she's going
broke
straight
her
back into
ankle.
the locker room.
heading down the tunnel right now.
But that was
Bueckers has
it.
that handle.
That was it.
to
That was
this-
literally the move.
Marina Mabrey may have avoided ejection and kept bragging online, but karma wasn't done with her yet. 3 days later, she faced the Dallas Wings, and Paige Bueckers was waiting. Mabrey stepped onto the court with the same confidence she'd shown all week, still buzzing off the attention. If you're passionate about real basketball talk, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, leave a comment, and share with fellow fans, because your support keeps the game alive.